Okay, so for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress on your local server. By local server, I mean on your laptop, on your system. So we are building on the local server before it goes live. So basically, what you're doing is that you're going to build this website and see how it looks, and ensuring that your links are properly functioning the way you want them, and your images are proper, and basically building your website before you host it live, before it goes online. So that's what I'm going to show you what you need to do to get that right. So first thing you want to do is download two basic softwares. The first thing you want to download would be a XAMPP, XAMPP Apache. So basically what XAMPP is, it's like your PHP environment. It's like where your WordPress files would be, you know, uh, uh, hosted basically locally, where you have all your database, hosted. So we're going to download XAMPP. So whatever system it is you're using, if you're using, say, a Windows, you download XAMPP for Windows. If you're using a Linux, you download XAMPP for Linux. If you're using iOS, you download for iOS. So I've already downloaded XAMPP, so go download XAMPP. Then the next thing you want to download would be WordPress. So to download WordPress, you go to wordpress.org and download WordPress. It's the same if you're using iOS or Windows system or Linux. So you just download WordPress. The latest WordPress is WordPress 5.5. For XAMPP, I didn't mention that the website you have to go to will be apachefriends.org. But don't worry, I'm going to provide you all of the links under this below this video. So you see all of the links where you download all the software. So you're downloading XAMPP or WAMP or MAMP, sorry. Some people download XAMPP and or MAMP, but for this tutorial, I'm going to make use of XAMPP. So I'm going to share with you the links to do all of that. So when you have that downloaded, you go to install your XAMPP. I always advise that you install your XAMPP on your C drive. So you go to your C drive, you download install your XAMPP, on your C drive. So, and when you do that, just go, the process is simple. Just go next, and pick your language, select your language, English obviously, and then it will finish. The window will pop up. So you're going to have a folder here named XAMPP when you're done with your installation. So basically, when you're done, this window will pop up. What you need to do is to start your Apache and your MySQL. Basically, they are the first two options here. You're going to start it. I've already started my Apache and MySQL. Just the first two options you see. Started. So basically means when you start it means your machine or your local host is up and running. The next thing you want to do is to go to your browser and type in localhost. So when you type in localhost, when you type that, you enter, it will bring you here. When you're here, the next thing you want to do is go to my PHP admin, like the last option, the last menu on this window. So when we are the PHP admin, we're clicking PHP admin. We want to open where we now create a database for our WordPress installation. It's taking a bit of time, but let's wait for it. Alright, so when you click on my PHP admin, you will come to this panel. Just look by your left hand side, you see the first option creates basically new. Click on new, but if yours is a fresh installation, I think it's going to be the base, basically the same thing, but just go to database. If you have a fresh installation, go to database. Now, the database you're creating, the name you're going to use on this database, remember, write it down somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to name this database church, CHURCH, that's church. So this name I'm using for the database will be the same name I'm going to also use for the WordPress folder. So when I install my WordPress in my XAMPP folder, I'm going to name the WordPress would also be church because I named my database church. So it should correspond, right? Okay, so you create, after naming you create, you click on create. So database church has been created. All right, so we are done with that. The next thing you want to do is go to your local disk C. That's where we install our XAMPP, remember? So you go to your XAMPP folder here, open it up, and come to where you see htdocs. Let me show you this just so you know. Right? So you go to your local disk, C drive, or wherever it is you've installed your XAMPP. Then you go to a folder called htdocs, right? htdocs, then you go to your WordPress folder. So I'm going to show you that. So here, htdocs here, double click it. Then you look for, remember, the same name you had named your database should also be the same for the WordPress folder, right? So I named my test, so I'm going to change that to what? To church, because that's the same name I'd use for my database. So I'm going to name this church. All right, so when you've created a folder called church in your XAMPP htdocs, then you install your WordPress. So I believe you have downloaded your WordPress. So what you need to do, it usually comes, in a zip file. So unzip it in a folder where you have your XAMPP. So you're going to create a folder, as I said, in XAMPP. That is where you unzip your WordPress files into. So when you unzip that WordPress file, remember to always delete the original file of the WordPress install that you extracted. Open up the WordPress folder, then extract all the file and paste it in the folder. All right, so the next thing you want to do is to go to your browser and type localhost/church. Remember the folder and the database I named church. So whatever it is you had named, just type on your browser localhost/ whatever it is you had named your WordPress installation folder named, whatever it is you named your database. In my case, it's localhost/church. So whatever it is you named that folder where you extracted your WordPress and that database, that's what you're going to / after localhost, right? Okay, so when you've done that, give it a bit of time. You'll come to this window. So when you're here, it means everything is working fine. If you have issues, it's going to give you error. You won't get this. So once you get to this point where you see this WordPress logo, means your XAMPP machine is working properly. Means your XAMPP is working fine. Right? Means your installations of WordPress files is correct. Means your database was properly named, or rather is properly named, right? Okay, so you click let's go. So we are starting the installation properly. Okay, so when you're here, you see you'll be directed to this window where you have database name, username, password, database host, table prefix. So for here, what you want to do, you see by default it shows database name WordPress. So but we're going to change that. Remember what you named your database when you created your database in my PHP admin. So remember the database you created initially. That's the name you're going to enter here. You know, so you're going to delete the WordPress that came by default. So for me, right? So whatever it is you named your database should correspond with your WordPress folder where you extracted your WordPress. So the same here, the database name should correspond with your database name that you entered initially, right? Right. Let's wait for it. Okay. Then for username, always leave username as what? Roots. Username should always be roots, right? ROOT, roots. Then for the password, delete what you have there, password, and leave it blank, right? Password should be left blank. Username, just use roots as a username, right? Your username should always be what? Root. Then password should be blank. Leave the password open. Don't put anything in the password. Database host, of course, is localhost. That's your XAMPP that you installed. And then table prefix, leave it as WP underscore, right? So when you've done that, you're good to go. Then click submit. So remember your database name should correspond with the database you created initially. And then the username should be root. Then the password should be left blank. Don't put any password. The database host should be localhost. That's where you have your XAMPP. Then the table prefix should just be left WP underscore as WordPress um, underscore. So let's wait for it. My system is a bit slow. Um, let's wait for it for the next step. Let's wait for the next step. Okay, so basically what's happening is all of your WordPress files are properly installing in your local host in your XAMPP. So you're going to design your website here on your laptop or on your system without having to go online. So you're going to run, say, all right, Spanky, you made it through the part of installation. WordPress can now communicate with your database. If you are ready, time now to run installation. So with installation, it's a simple process. So click on run installation. Let's wait for it for installation to run. Um, it will take a bit of time, but just wait for it. Depending on how fast your system is. I have so many programs running on my system, so it's a bit slow. Let's give it a bit of time. It will soon be done. It's for mine. I'll just like to go with church. You know, I'll just name my church. Then my username. I'll just go with admin, right? So it's going to be admin. Then whatever it is, name your password. Remember, whatever password you put in, just write it down somewhere so you don't forget, because you're gonna use it to log in, as you will see. So that's the password you're using to log in to your WordPress back end. So remember what your username is and also what your what your password is, right? Okay, I'll wait for it. So remember your username and your password. So write down your password somewhere, because that's what you'll be using to log into your WordPress backend. So your WordPress dashboard. So remember your username and your password, because you're going to be needing it to log into your WordPress dashboard, right? So confirm password. confirm use password. So if your password is weak, confirm. Obviously mine is weak, so I'm going to confirm. Click that. You see a little box there. Click it. Click on the confirm password, confirm use of weak password. So click that if you're prompted to, and then okay, right, for then for your email, so you put in email, whatever email you want WordPress to send you, whatever it is you want. So put in your email, basically put in your email here, your email, put in the email you use here, just for maybe there are updates or newsletters or whatever it is WordPress wants to send you. But remember, you're getting this on WordPress, but you must put in your email, right? So the next thing is search engine visibility. Discourage search engines from indexing this site. So just leave that open now. Then you install WordPress. So basically, that's the last thing we'll be doing. So let's wait for it to install WordPress finally to our database and to our system. So that's basically the processes. So let's just wait for it to complete. So remember, as I said, your username and your password information details are very important. So you have to write them to somewhere because you'll be needing it, to start building your site properly. So let's wait for installation to complete. So success, WordPress has been installed. Thank you and enjoy. Alright. So got into this window, you have success, WordPress has been installed. Thank you and enjoy. So remember WordPress. So exactly how to start building a website. Thank you. Bye.